Certainly not the first half that we expected, but I was really proud of how our team handled it. Obviously, Anaya is huge for us in situations of handling the ball, and then this is a team that pressures as much as anybody in the league. So heading into this game, if you would have told me Anaya is going to be in foul trouble right out of the gate, and then India is going to be in foul trouble, obviously it would have been pretty worrisome. But I thought our kids did a great job of handling the opportunities they had, for the most part, of handling the pressure. I thought Paige did a great job really just stepping up and being assertive for us. But for whatever reason, wasn't a great first half. I think more than anything, you have to credit them, but I think a lot of it was just a little bit of a lack of focus on some of the things that we talked about doing heading into the game, and really had to tighten up at halftime, and I thought we did a better job in the second half with it.
Yeah, we saw the switch there at halftime. Just kind of what flipped there for you guys to where they go from shooting about 60% to shooting 26.1% in the second half?
Well, I thought, the first possession of the game, it was a loose ball, and we were the last one there. I mean, I just thought they came out and they set the tone. We take a lot of pride in getting every loose ball, owning the boards, being a physical team, setting the tone, and we didn't do that. We didn't start the game like that, so we were out of position. We got in foul trouble, and it snowballed a little bit. More than anything, our ticket to the reason we've had some of the success we've had recently has been our defense, and we didn't come out and we didn't defend. They're a team that's averaging 52 points heading into the game. I forget what they had at halftime, but they were on pace to be 20 over their average. So we just, again, reemphasize the things that we had talked about yesterday, the things that we talked about before the game, and our kids had to really just lock in and kind of flip the switch and get back to doing the things that we knew we had to do. And for whatever reason, we didn't really do that in the first half. But I just thought we were playing a little passive, a little bit soft. And they came out and they set the tone, and then we had to respond. But I don't want to be a team that reacts to everything. Like, we want to come out, we want to set the tone, we want to dictate, and I didn't think we did that early on.
McLeod, number 4 for them, just 16 in that first half, 7 of 8. What you guys do differently there in the second half on her? Because she's 0 for 3 and 1 point in that entire second half.
Decide to start defending. Their posts were a point of emphasis coming into the game. Their 3 post players lead them in scoring, score over half their points between the 3 of them. So they were a point of focus. It was no surprise, but it was a surprise to me in just how we just didn't come out and have the assertiveness that we needed on the defensive end of the floor. And she made us pay. She was 7 for 8. And then, and I thought she was getting easy shots, and when she gets easy shots, she's going to finish those. But we knew that was the strength of their offense was their post players, and I didn't think we did a good job doing the things we needed to do in the first half defensively across the board. And they took advantage of it, but then we just tightened some things up, and it was definitely a point of emphasis at halftime. So the stats didn't lie. She had 16 points at half. I mean, it wasn't me just making up numbers.
And Kennedy, she's able to, she kind of asserted herself that entire game, but especially there in the second half, 7 of 9, 15, 8 points. It kind of looked easy for her at times out there to just back down and get an easy bucket. Just what's working for her.
Yeah, it's funny because I see the stats and she had 25 and 15, and it didn't feel like it to me. It might have been to everybody else, but I just feel like she's got so much in her. I mean, she had I think 10 in the first half, but it didn't feel like it. I felt like I kept telling her, like, want the ball, own the paint down there, and I just don't think we were being active enough. And when KT is active, she's really good, and she started to assert herself, and obviously ended up statistically career game for her. But I think she's got a lot more in her. She's got more in her. So, but proud of the way that she stepped up and she responded coming out of halftime. I thought both her and Jade did a good job.
What is that? What's more in her? Because 25 and 15. That's saying more than that's pretty ridiculous.
Well, I think, obviously her stats were phenomenal, but just watching her, I'm not looking at stats as she accumulates them. I'm just looking at some offensive rebounds that maybe she didn't finish, she didn't collect herself, we didn't do anything with. We had 11 offensive boards at halftime, and I felt like we were just being soft with them. We weren't being productive with them. I thought in the second half we got offensive rebounds and we were productive with them. We made them pay. So more is just knocking down her free throws, boards, finishing those. I thought she had opportunities where she could have posted up more, and she didn't. She was okay with sliding up to the elbow and just running our offense when I thought she could have asserted herself and been more of a presence inside. So regardless what the stats are, I don't go on stats, I go with what I think she could do. And so obviously the statistics are phenomenal. I think most coaches in the country would take 25 and 15, but I think she's got more in her than that.
Coach, obviously when you have like that short rotation, and you play the kind of defense you play, the rebounding that you guys are known for, the risk is when you get someone in foul trouble. And you've been able to avoid that last few games, but today it happened. What did you learn about your team for what happens in that situation?
Well, I'm proud of the way we responded. I think, more than anything, like from here on, you're going to face adversity at some point. Like you're going to face adversity in every game. And so it's just how you attack it, how you manage it, whether it's as a coaching staff, whether it's as players, as teammates, individually. Every game is going to be hard. So more than anything, like I always talk about, like it's easy to sit there and come up with what all the problems are, but we've got to be into figuring out what the solutions are. So at that point, you can't dwell on the fact that we're in foul trouble, our rotation shorts, and all the things that are wrong. You just got to figure out a way to fix it and find a way to still make it work. And I thought Taylor came in and gave us some really good minutes again. Obviously, Jaden Bryant hasn't played a lot recently, but she's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, getting workouts in. So she was ready. I thought she was ready and bought us 10 minutes in there that were critical. And I thought Paige really stepped up. Paige and Sydney really stepped up as far as just taking over ball handling responsibility. And that was huge for us because we're so used to the ball being in Anaya's hands. So I think more than anything, it just shows them they're capable of doing whatever it is we need them to do. It's more the mental approach of it.
And I know last we spoke, you were hoping for some good news on Izzy this week. Is that what you received, or is that something you can share with us?
She hasn't been to the doctor yet, so she'll go midweek, and we'll find out. I know she's feeling a lot better, but even with her feeling better, it doesn't mean she's going to get cleared right away. It's still return to play protocol that she has to go through. So I don't know how soon she'll be back, but it's not going to be this weekend. So.
Coach, a few stats for you. So you guys are now 5-0, right? Your last 5 games.
Okay.
10-0 when you hold teams to less than 60 points, and 20 of your 42 rebounds were on the offensive boards. What is it about this team that is clicking so well right now as we're in February?
I don't know. February is always a grind. It's like the longest month, because January is so long, and February is always just really, really hard. I mean, any program I've been a part of, it's just hard because it's a long season. It's a grind of a season, and you're trying to put yourself in the best position possible come, tournament play and postseason. So, I think more than anything, these last 2 games they've been a grinded out type of game. Like, I think we're doing some things really well. I think we're, seeing some areas of improvement, but at the same time, all these games are hard. So you look at the SIU game, it was a grinded out type of game. Just find a way to win. This is the same type of game. We didn't have the kind of half that we wanted, but our kids found a way to win. And I think the sign of a good team is at this point in the season when it's long, you're battling bumps and bruises and the longevity of a season and kids playing a lot of minutes and just keeping them fresh and things like that. More than anything, it's just good teams find a way to win despite what any circumstances are. And so I'm proud of the way, especially these last 2 games that we've been able to just kind of grind it out and find a way when things haven't necessarily always been pretty.
Well, as my dad, who was a high school basketball coach, would say, that's what you call battle tested. How good is it, though, that not only are you guys in these games, but you're winning these games?
Well, it's always great when we're winning games, right? No, I think it's good. I think we've had a lot of growth throughout the year. Obviously, I think we've come a long way from where we've started, and that's the one focus that we've had since the beginning. Is just let's continue to get better, day in and day out of practice, day in and day out of games. I still think we have our best days ahead of us, individually and collectively as a team, and want to just keep building on that. And then I think from there, as a coach, is trying to keep them mentally and physically fresh at this point. We have kids that are playing a lot of minutes. It's a long season. There's a lot of jockeying for position in conference play right now, but just mentally and physically trying to keep them as fresh as possible and as sharp as possible, and that's a challenge.
last one for me. I know Jay Massigal, right, 5th game in a row, double-double for her, or at least 12 points. I know she's only a freshman, but why now we're talking? Please tell me she's going to develop a jumper from the elbow. Because if she does, she's got it all, right? I mean, she's a great, well-rounded player already.
Yeah, it's something, she definitely has it. I think if you look at our recent games, she's definitely had a lot more confidence facing up and knocking down that mid-range jumper. She has a great skill set. I mean, obviously you've seen throughout the year just her passing ability. She's got a really good IQ, and that's something that we've been just on her about, continuing to be assertive, scoring and taking those opportunities and taking those shots. I think she's done a great job in our recent games, showing that she can do that. And I think more than anything for her, it's just building the confidence, because she does it in practice. She's a good shooter. I think it's just her having the confidence to do it in games. She's been able to do it recently and has had some success with it, and I think just will continue to build on that.
You say the jockeying for position being something that trying to keep them focused on and trying to keep them mentally aware of, but you guys are right there in the championship mix, right? 2 games out right now, and you play that first place team. You all say you should have beat earlier in the year. You played them on Sunday. Just what is it like right now being in that mix, and when there were maybe times this year when you didn't know if you would be in this position?
Yeah, I think more than anything, have just always focused on task at hand, each individual game, and don't get too far ahead of yourself. And, you can't dwell on the past and the things that you've either already done or the things that didn't go well, and just learn from them. But I think more than anything is just keep them what's important, most important right now. And the biggest game on our schedule is the one against Bradley coming up. And, I think that we've proven that, we're capable of beating anybody in the league, but at the same time, we're capable of losing to anybody in the league. So that's certainly something that we've gone through this year. But I think more than anything, just one game at a time and control the things that we can control. And then, as I've always said, let's see where the chips may fall.